So, I'm a little bit younger than my boyfriend, and my mother went to school with him. She's been absolutely desperate to get me to break up with him. She claims that he's an abuser and does all sorts of horrible things. I'm telling her, you're out of your mind. I'm going to go no contact if you keep up this mess. I, 22 female, have been married to my husband, 37 male, for 4 years. Yes, I married a man in his 30s when I was 18. No, I was not groomed. It was more of a strangers with benefits relationship at first. We didn't really know our ages. We knew that we did have an age gap between us, but we didn't know how big it was. When we found out the correct age, I was already pregnant. So we both decided to say skip it. And we made it this far. Why not see it to the end? He's big, sweet, adorable. He's amazing with our daughter, and he takes really good care of me. I couldn't have asked for a better husband. My mom hates my husband, but not for the reason you think. Well, they went to high school together. This town is small as heck. Everybody knows everybody, and apparently how she acted back then is the same as how she acts now. She was a spoiled brat that cried when she didn't get her way. Heck, I have a memory of her throwing a tantrum like a child in the mall because my grandfather would not buy her the purse that she wanted. She used to fight me and my siblings for our grandparents' attention all the time. My mother was in her teens when she had me, but that didn't stop her from controlling my siblings and I. We were her little puppets throughout our childhood. Also, she was/is a massive manipulator. That's why my mom hates my husband. She keeps trying to control me and my husband, standing in a way of that. It takes me watching my mother-in-law interact with my husband and his siblings to realize, oh, so this is how a mother should treat their children. My mom keeps trying to separate me from him, and she's been trying everything in the book to get me to leave my husband. From lying about him to making everything he does seem like a big deal. The lies that my mother told me about my husband range from a very hilarious to just downright infuriating. One time, my mom told me that someone sent her screenshots of my husband's conversation with his supposed mistress. Why would an anonymous person send my mother, his mother-in-law, screenshots of someone else's conversation instead of, I don't know, his wife? Telling me that she's overheard my husband say that he didn't love my daughter and that he's only using me for, well, sex, which is something that we barely even have. She planted small lace underwear underneath the living room couch, and when I found out, I immediately did not blame my husband. My mom wanted me to blame my husband, but I refused. My mom thinks that my husband is just aggressive and controlling with me. Just because my husband's 6'8" and 300 pounds of pure muscle, but he's a golden retriever in a human's body. He's a giant man-child. He's always happy, very energetic, and is just a sweetheart. My husband loves to pick me up and our daughter and then slam us on the mattress. We think it's fun. Or, on a really special occasion, if I'm laying down, he'll come up and lay his full body weight on top of me. She thinks that a husband should not do such things, that they should treat their families like a delicate little flower wrapped up in a pillow. She even told me that he was holding me captive because sometimes he would body block the door frame. I love when my husband acts like that because when he's not acting immature, that means he's stressed or depressed. So, when my husband slams us against the mattress, that means he's okay. And that's okay with me. Also, food. That my husband is controlling my eating, and I'm intolerant to mostly all animal products. My husband realizes that I always get sick when I eat cheese or chicken, so he stops really bringing it into the house. My mother thinks that my husband's just controlling my eating because, quote, if he really loves you, he would let you eat what you want. He's going to starve you to death. Not minding the fact that my acne cleared up, I don't sound like a baby elephant when I blow my nose, or no, my husband is starving me and he's definitely not worrying about my health. Then it's the fear of mongering. My husband has a history of violence, and my mom keeps using his history to try to put fear in me. Like I said above, my parents and my husband went to high school together. My mom told me all the time that she witnessed my husband get arrested or be dragged into the principal's office for a beating. My husband was in the same, quote, gang with my dad, so he was a violent delinquent. My only mom told me this because she was worried about my safety. I know about my husband's past behavior, but he told me, and my dad told me all the times that they got into trouble. However, the way my mom described my husband was like her trying to tell me that he is or was a violent man. Like my husband's just going to snap on me any day and hurt me and our daughter in our sleep. She told me to not have any more children with him because I would forever be attached to him and I couldn't leave if it got too violent. My husband's never even laid his hands on me or our daughter. He doesn't yell at us or anything like that. So, my husband got help with the issues in his early 20s, and he's left the streets and has been a happy-go-lucky person ever since. Now, you're probably wondering why my mom's in my life to begin with when she acts like this. Well, my mom being around me is new, as I lost my dad almost 7 months ago, right after I found out I was pregnant. He was my daddy and my daughter's best friend. I know how crazy my mom is, but I felt like I needed a parent, so I started letting her back into my life little by little. Clearly, now it was a mistake. My mom's been trying to control my pregnancy ever since she's found out, and gets so mad when my husband stops her weird stuff. Then her tactics switch to saying that a mother should do this to a mother should do that. And quote, back in my day when I was pregnant with you and your sibling, I did such and such. I smoked and drank while I was pregnant with your siblings and y'all turned out fine. No they didn't. And she just keeps telling me that I'm not going to be a real mom if I get a C-section, which likely is going to happen. Now, on to last week. My leg just gave out and I went tumbling down the stairs. It was the absolute worst pain I've ever felt in my entire life. And I pushed out my daughter's head. Well, apparently people are confused at that sentence. What I meant by that was I was giving birth to my 4-year-old daughter and it was very painful. But falling down the stairs and breaking my leg was worse. My mom was freaking out while my husband was trying to find a good way to pick me up without hurting me. Luckily, my daughter was at my mother-in-law, so I was on the couch in pain, worrying that I might lose my child. My husband went into the room to get his stuff together to take me to the hospital, leaving me alone with my mom. She turned evil. I mean, she was controlling back in my childhood, but this is the messed up thing that she's done to me. She told me to get up, that I should just walk the pain off, that I'm a mother, and that I need to start powering through stuff. I told her I can't even move, that my arm and leg hurt. Then that woman proceeded to grab me by the messed up arm and try to make me stand up. I was on the ground from the pain and I couldn't stand up, so she starts to basically drag me. I've never seen my husband angry before, but he pushed her away and gave her this terrifying face. He picked me up to take me to the car, and while my mother was trying to argue with him, I got to the hospital in excruciating pain, while freaking the heck out. So, my husband eventually had to go back home, and when he went back to the house, my mom was still there and tried to pick a fight with him. According to my husband, things got physical because Mom went into a great detail of how he's abusing my daughter and I, and that she might not have proof, but oh boy, she's going to prove it. He almost hit my mother, but he restrained himself and only left a bruise from where he grabbed her. To be honest, I would have slapped the crap out of that woman, and I'm back home now and everything's gone to chaos. My mom used the altercation she had with my husband to her benefit, saying that he assaulted her and that my accident was no accident. This is the worst experience I've ever had. Mostly because I'm now dealing with flying monkeys, questioning my love for my mother because how can I be okay standing by my husband? Guys, I fell down the stairs. I even could have lost my kids and my mom and all this stupid crap she's pulled. There's a lot of people who believe my mom's story and a few who don't. I try to talk to people and tell them the truth about what really happened, but they aren't even listening to me. Now my husband's being harassed and people are calling him a woman beater and a piece of crap. Someone scratched up his car and even popped some of his tires. He's sad. He's trying to act all happy like he usually does, but I know what he's faking a smile. And, well, my daughter is just very confused. She doesn't know what's going on. I don't know how to explain why Daddy's car is all messed up, or why she's not allowed to see Gram. We haven't left the house, or answered our phones, or answered the door because people won't leave us alone. I could have avoided all this if I just never let that woman back in, so I guess you could say, this one's on me. Now, what have I gone through in the past week, you might ask? Here's a little review. Number 1, we explained to my daughter in a friendly way that Grandma has done this and why she can't see her. Grandma had lied about Daddy and Grandma made Daddy and Mommy sad. My daughter doesn't really get it, but she's okay with not seeing Grandma right now. Number 2, the police showed up. They were doing a wellness check because apparently no one's heard from me in a while. Then one of them had the brightest question and asked me why I haven't called my mother recently. She's worried sick about me. I haven't called my mother recently because, she's telling everybody and their freaking mama that my husband pushed me down the dang stairs. Then a few days after they showed up again. But this time with the activation that my husband is actually abusing us. To be honest, at this point I snapped. Nothing but angry tears and angry swearing came out of me. I was just so darn tired, I just wanted to be left alone with my family. And number 3, I decided to make an internet post telling people that I'm tired of them, family, friends, flying monkeys, absolutely harassing my family, attacking my husband, and believing my mother's stupid lies. I get it. They're worried about me, and I'm fine with that, but I don't appreciate that they believe my mother and refuse to even listen to me. I just wanted them to stop. They didn't stop, they got worse. However, an hour after I made that post, my grandfather came to talk to me. He told me that he knows his daughter is crazy and he would do anything in his power to make this better. I don't know exactly what my grandfather did, but the mob stopped. You all don't know how relieved I am for that, and they're still trying to contact me just to talk and have a quote meeting with me. But now I can cut off my phone without it blowing up with messages. Now, to the reason why I'm making an update. The Wicked Witch of the East finally made an appearance. I've been stuck in the house since I broke my leg. I've been getting tired of being here, so I asked my brother-in-law and sister-in-law, who, by the way, they've been taking care of me when my husband goes to work. I asked them to take me out. They were hesitant at first, but eventually they popped me and my daughter into the van, and we surprised my husband at work with food. The incident with my husband's car made us realize that our house wasn't safe, so we invested in a bit of security. As I was eating tacos with my family, I get a notification from my security, and what do you know? It was my mother. I've been ignoring her phone calls and text messages, and that's a new deadly sin, apparently. My mom starts banging on the door, with my little sister screaming that she knows I'm in there and that monster, aka my husband, is trying to take me and her grandbabies away. We were watching my mom throw a tantrum at the front door for a good solid minute because it was absolutely hilarious. But when my sister was ready to throw a rock through our window to get inside of our house, that's when we decided to address them. We told them to get off of our property, that I don't want to see my sister and especially not my mother. And that's me talking, not my husband. My mother said, "I'm sorry, baby. Please open the door." I told her no, not after everything she's done. She lied to everybody and told them that my husband pushed me down the stairs and my husband assaulted her unprompted. So my mother screamed he did assault her, and he even had the audacity to try to hit her. I said, "That's your fault. I don't even blame my husband. What you said was absolutely disgusting, and if I was him, I would have slapped you to tomorrow." My mother told me that I could not talk to her like that she is my mom and her DNA runs through my veins. I told her that my father's DNA also runs through my veins, as well as his DNA in me wants to beat your face in with a sock full of pennies. Well, at this point, that caused my mom to go into a frenzy, so we called the cops and told them that there were 2 people at our house that were already told them to leave, but they refused. When the police get there, they took my sister and my mom to talk with them for a little while. And then one cop came up to the house to try to talk to us, but we talked to them through the security camera and explained that we don't know those people. You know, like a liar. No matter how much they claim to be my mother and sister, we absolutely don't know them. They're strangers. Eventually, they left, and we waited for a while to go back home, just in case my family was secretly waiting for me in a bush or something, or the shadows. My mom did try to go on her social media to rant, saying that, "Oh, my husband's keeping me captive." But luckily, my grandfather shut that crap down. Final update, posted yesterday. So, the paragraph above happened just a few days ago and I tried to post it, but my account wasn't old enough. However, my mother shows back at my house yesterday. I was asleep when it happened, but my husband, my brother-in-laws, and my sister-in-law on the security camera explained it all to me. My in-laws were on the porch when my mother pulled up. She just wanted to see me for sure to make sure I was alive. My brother-in-laws and sister-in-law did not let her in the house and threatened to call the police. Mom accused them of helping my husband abuse my daughter and I, and my husband came out and he starts arguing with my mom as well. She kept calling him the usual names like abuser. Hey, that was a new one, huh? While everyone was distracting, one of my brother-in-laws went inside of the house. He went through the back door, went around the house, grabbed the garden hose, dragged it to the front, and then proceeded to spray my mother down with the garden hose. My mom tries to get away, but she keeps flipping on the grass. Then my brother-in-law passed the hose to my husband, and then he kept spraying her. My husband chased my mother with the hose right to her car, and he didn't stop spraying. I'm pretty sure he even got water in her car. He had the biggest smile during and after the hosing, and oh boy, I bet it felt good. Alright, here's a couple comments for this story. Geez, your mother is a piece of work. Not just a restraining order, but also a cease and desist to prevent her spreading those nasty, filthy lies, and as many as orders you can get to protect yourself. Comment 2 says, you should be very specific and telling any flying monkeys that your mother assaulted you after your fall to try to force you to get up and walk on a broken leg. Honestly, I might have told them that, yes, it was an accident, but no, it was not my husband. My mother pushed me down the stairs, but shooting on my husband makes me want blood, so probably just me. Guys, do you think that's good advice? Do you think OP should have spun this around and said, no, my husband did not push me down those stairs, you did? Let me know your thoughts about that story. We still have one more story to look at on today's video, though. The title is, Entitled Father and Stepmother Have Become Lazy Slobs. thinking they shouldn't have to clean up as long as, well, I'm around. I'm currently 29 years old living in New Orleans. I live in my childhood home with my biological father and stepmother. We have 3 dogs, 2 of which are purebred West Highland Terriers, and the other being a Yorkshire Terrier. My father's retired from his city job, while my stepmom sells cars for a dealership. My dad is 61, and his name is Kevin, while my stepmom is 64, and her name is Alicia. Kevin and Alicia got married to each other in the middle of 2014, after 2 years of dating each other. Alicia has been living with me and my dad in her house since 2013. They got each other our 3 dogs when they were each barely just a few weeks old. They got the first dog, the female Westie, during the summer of 2016 while I was away at law school. I come home from the summer and there's the puppy. The next summer in 2017 is when they got the second Westie, which was a boy. And in August of 2018 is when they got the girl Yorkie. Kevin and Alicia got each other the puppies without my knowledge or even my opinion. But that's their right and I hold no ill feelings about it. So, I graduated law school in New Orleans in May of 2018 and stayed in Baton Rouge with a friend while I studied for the bar exam. I came back home in August of 2018 and took 2 months off before finding work as a clerk while waiting for my bar exam results. I find out I passed the bar in October later that year and immediately went to work at my law firm where I've been ever since, and I am extremely happy. The problems that I've been having with Kevin and Alicia have been present for a long time since late 2018 and have just been festering ever since until recently. It all started when my stepmom, Alicia, got stage 3 breast cancer that required her to have a double mastectomy. She was in real bad health there for a while, but thankfully she managed to beat breast cancer. She's since had breast reconstructive surgery, but her body has been ravaged by other medical issues like having fibromyalgia, back problems, disc issues in her back near her spine, as well as severe arthritis. My dad has his fair share of medical problems like a severe swelling of his leg that's more of a hindrance to him than help after a previous surgery on it over 15 years ago left him with a nice-sized dent in the side of his leg, which is still there to this day. Well, that along with his increasing weight of well over 300 pounds has greatly restricted his overall mobility. He's also had a bad problem with his left shoulder that's made it to where he doesn't fully have range of motion to use his shoulder. He thinks it's either a torn labrum or a torn rotator cuff, but because of his apprehension of going to doctors, he's let it get to an untreated stage for nearly 10 years. Now he's having chest pains that he's finally going to get checked by a heart doctor in December, which is long overdue considering he had a minor heart attack during the summer of 2018 when I was in Baton Rouge. Anyways, he neglected to tell me about this because he didn't want to be a burden to me while I was studying for the bar exam. Fast forward to the past few years, I've been living with Kevin and Alicia in my childhood home, and my old bedroom. The male Westie named Peter and female Westie named Patty both stay with me in my own bedroom, while the little Yorkie named Sadie stays with Kevin and Alicia in their bedroom. When my stepmom first got cancer, naturally, I wanted to try and offer what little help I could to lighten the burden on them, especially her. I offered to take care of the cleaning of the kitchen, taking care of the kitchen trash while she went through her treatment process to beat the cancer. I wasn't paying rent while living with them, so I just wanted to help in whatever way that I could. Back then, it was just a little stress off of them. Alicia managed to beat the cancer for good in early of 2021, and things went back to the normal in the house. However, it is the year where the problems I've been having with Kevin and Alicia came to a head, after years of building up. The main issue I've been having with Kevin and Alicia is how they've become absolute slobs, both in and outside of their bedroom and the rest of the house, and expect me to clean up after them like it's my responsibility. They will allow the kitchen garbage to get so full to the point where they're playing a game I like to call the Leaning Tower of Garbage. They balance bits of garbage on top of the kitchen bag, waiting for me to take the trash out. When the kitchen garbage gets too full, they decide to use plastic bags from the local grocery store as makeshift garbage bags and fill those with leftover garbage and stick those plastic bags in the sink. And they just expect you to, you guessed it, me, to take those plastic bags of garbage out of the garbage can outside, literally, just right outside on our patio. Regardless of who does it, you walk about maybe 20 steps total, taking the trash from the kitchen to the garbage can outside. Back then, when Alicia was dealing with her cancer diagnosis and stuff like that, I offered to take the trash out every week and keep the kitchen spotless. Since then, however, they've just twisted this to mean I'm responsible for taking out the trash each and every single time it gets full. This also applies to every single bit of trash they deposit in the kitchen. Right outside, they will then fill garbage bags full of trash from their bedroom and just sit them somewhere in the kitchen waiting to be taken outside to the trash can by who else? Me. This has led the dogs to getting into said full garbage bags on more than one occasion, and every time they promise they won't do it again, but they always fail to keep their word. I've been encountering the same problem with them, but it comes to the dogs. This includes taking them out, giving them food and water, and cleaning up after them when they poop and pee, all over the house. That meant they would crap and pee all over everywhere. Well, as you can expect, the carpet in the back room got so saturated with poop and pee stains that we barely ever go back there except to do laundry, and that's it. It's mainly used for storage of all the bullcrap stuff that Alicia brought with her when she moved into the home. She filled 2 rooms of the house with so much junk that we can barely even get inside them and move about freely in the room. One of which is the back room, which the destroyed carpet is there. After a long time, a lot of hard days' work, Kevin and Alicia would come home to poop and pee or both in the direct line of sight in the house, and they wouldn't even do a darn thing about it on the floor. Sometimes, my dad would clean it up, but to this day, I've never heard my stepmom Alicia cleaning up a puddle of pee or poop in the house ever. There have been countless times where one of the dogs would pee in the middle of the hallway where their bedroom leads to the bathroom, and I'd hear Alicia loudly complain about stepping in dog pee. But then all she'd do is go to the bathroom and sidestep the pee when she came out of the bathroom, headed back into her bedroom. She never said it to me or my father, but in her mind, she honestly just expects us to clean up the mess. And her actions cannot prove it to be more true. Honestly, who the duck steps in dog pee in their own house and doesn't clean it up? It's all come to a head these past several months, where I've called out Kevin and Alicia's unwillingness to do routine checks for dog pee and poop in the common areas of the house and clean it up. More specifically, Kevin checking on dog poop and pee and, well, cleaning it up whenever I'm at work. Ever since Kevin and Alicia got the 3 dogs, I've never seen or heard Alicia clean up a puddle of pee or dog poop ever. All Kevin does is agree with me about Alicia's laziness and her behavior and says he'll talk to her, but nothing ever changes. Recently, I had it out with my dad in an argument and told him that I wanted things to change when it came to the kitchen garbage duties. I told him and, well, Alicia to stop playing their game of Leaning Tower of Garbage by simply taking out the kitchen garbage outside the garbage can if they notice it's full. That I wanted to start paying rent, so it would mean that they start helping her out round the house. My dad gets really mad at this point, suggesting that I'm saying, quote, "I'm not taking no rent money from you, that's bull crap." He said that, quote, Your responsibilities have always included taking care of the dogs and taking care of the kitchen and keeping it clean. Now, I need your help with that, son, because I've been having chest pains and I'm really worried about it. I'm scared. I'm going to see a cardiologist about it in early December." That's where the argument ended because unfortunately my father is one of the most stubborn and irrational people in the whole wide world. He's constantly gaslighting you when he has trouble remembering stuff that just recently happened even several hours ago. So, his statement of what my duties have always been could not have been any further from the truth, because I never willingly agreed to take care of the dogs. I felt like I had no choice but to step up and take care of them because the amount of care given to all three of them by Kevin and Alicia, to put it bluntly, did not even rise up to the bare minimum. The dogs would go months and months without being bathed or groomed. They were never taken to the vet for their shots. They were also fed or taken outside on consistent basis, never, and were neglected attention-wise. Peter and Patty were basically abandoned by Kevin and Alicia. Their attention-wise was never there, and once they grew out of their puppy phase and instantly attached themselves to me, and I haven't looked back since. As for cleaning the kitchen, like my dad said, I don't have a problem making sure the kitchen is clean, as it's not even that big of a kitchen. The problem I have is Kevin and Alicia making a pigsty out of it, and then just shrugging their shoulders like, "Oh, don't worry, OP will just clean it because that's his job." They do this by leaving finished plates all over the kitchen, garbage just out and about on the counters, and honestly, I'm fed up with Kevin and Alicia's mentality of, oh, if OP doesn't do it, then I guess it just doesn't get done. Or until I leave it and crap gets so backlogged that Kevin can't take it anymore and just does it himself. I've done sneaky little studies to verify my suspicions about the next level and, well, the behavior from Kevin and Alicia this past year. One time I saw a piece of dog poop from our dog Sadie on the living room floor, which is a wood floor by the way. I decided to leave it, as it was an area of the living room that is easily noticeable when you come in through the front door. It was my own little experiment. This happened on a Sunday, but it happened while Kevin has been retired and Alicia is still working. I left it there for the next 7 days, and I counted the number of times that Kevin and Alicia would have had to pass it to get to the next room, their bedroom. Alicia would have passed by that singular piece of poop no less than 20 times in that 7-day span, while Kevin would have walked by the same piece of poop just to go into the kitchen to make himself lunch and dinner no less than 14 times in that 7-day span. I've left the kitchen garbage full for over a week on more than one occasion to see if either of them would just take it out. That never happened, as they would just reuse some big paper bag. One of those takeout food bags in a makeshift garbage bag. Fill it to the brim and sit in the left side of the kitchen sink for me to take it out along with the comically overfilled kitchen garbage can. And just to give you guys a little bit more information because I believe it's relevant to the situation at hand, I pay house cleaners $50 every week to come and clean the home. They come on either a Wednesday or Thursday to clean, and I also pay for the internet, which is roughly $135 a month through Suddenlink. Alicia pays for the dog's dry food to be delivered every month, but that's all she does to help with the dogs. Kevin, to my knowledge, takes care of the rest of the household bills. There's a lot more problems going on as far as Alicia's entitled behavior goes, and she conducts herself in this house, but this post is already becoming a manifesto, so I'll leave it be for another time. Thanks for letting me vent, guys, and feel free to comment whether I'm crazy or my observations are spot on. Okay, so the biggest comment is basically this one sentence. It says, "Get your own place, let them live in filth." That's when OP replies to that and gives a little bit more info saying, "Trust me, I'm planning on doing just that. I'm saving up as much as I possibly can so I can get my own little starter home. Once that happens, I'm not paying for the house cleaners anymore, nor am I paying for the internet. I'm also taking my dogs, Peter and Patty, with me, and they can take care of Sadie. She sleeps with them every night anyway, so she's attached to them far more than I am. So guys, it looks like the ultimate plan for OP: move into her own starter home and get away from all this toxicness that's going on in her childhood home. If you had some advice that you could give, what would you say to OP? Drop your thoughts in the comment section, guys. Thank you once again for tuning in to today's video. I hope you enjoyed the content. If you're new to the channel, my name's Mr. Reddito. I read stories every single day of some of the most dramatic stories on the World Wide Web that I can find. If that sounds like something you're into, you know what to do. I'll see you guys in the next one.